everyone, my name is Bailey. Today we're going to be working through a broken down flow. So it's going to be a little bit slower, but different than our slow flow or a gentle, in that you might come out of a pose or a shape a little bit just for the sake of explanation. So you might think of this as a little bit more workshop-y, if you will, rather than this fluid flow. So this is going to be great for those of you that are really looking to get more present in a pose and learn how to fully experience it. Sometimes we feel like we're just kind of in this shape. What are we doing? My arms are up, is that it? You know, there's all these different things that we can engage and bring our awareness to, and I wanted to speak to that. And sometimes when we're in more of these fast-paced flows, or even when we're new or we've been doing this for a really long time, we just want to learn how we can be more present and explore these poses in ways that make sense individually. Every day is different. So we're going to move a little slower. I'm going to talk through a lot of different things, and you might just explore these shapes in ways that you normally haven't. I want to explain the intention behind them a bit, why we do them, and ultimately leave you feeling like you can take this information and plug it into any class that you'll take in the future of your yoga life. So with that said, I just want to start seated, closing our eyes, settling in. So this is the very first part of our practice. We can sometimes call this integration, where we really take some time to not turn off our day, our life, and then turn on our yoga practice. That's sometimes very unrealistic. It's really just a place where we integrate whatever we were doing into our yoga practice. We let our day, as wonderful or as challenging as it might have been, we let that come onto our mat with us. And the cool thing about yoga is you're still getting this workout, this exercise, this experience, but you're also connecting back in with yourself and turning on this place of becoming a witness to how you react to challenge, to discomfort. And that's usually a little different depending on what we have going on in our life day by day. And that's why it's a practice. So while you're here, the first step is usually just slowing down your breath. You can bring your hands comfortably on your lap, finding those long, slow breaths in and out, and just noticing how it feels to bring some control into your breath. It's always there for you. It's always working on your behalf. And when we practice yoga, it's a really beautiful time to regain that control. And sometimes because we're mainly used to letting our body just do the work for us, there can be sometimes some anticipation or some resentment in having to hold yourself accountable to your breath. Lots of pushback, especially from me. Why do I have to do this? What's the point? Kind of just trusting the process and seeing how linking your breath with movement is really a massive game changer as you start to develop a yoga practice. And you start right here. So breathing in as much as you can through your nose, opening your mouth, let that out. Breathing in fully through your nose as much as you can. There's always a little bit more air you can take in. Take it in, hold it, and open your mouth. It all comes out. Do that again. Cleansing, clearing breaths. Long in. Open out. Closing your mouth. And breathing in for the count of 3. Through your nose, the count of 3, exhale. Good, keep doing that. In through your nose for 3. Out through your nose for 3. Noticing if you can make your number longer, make it longer. And match your exhale in length with whatever that number might be. And as we do this, lots of things can happen. Some people may feel very comfortable doing this, counting in and out, matching inhales and exhales in length. For some of us, it can be challenge, and it can be a little bit of anticipation that comes up. There's this moment of, I really want to exhale, or I'm breathing in for too long, or There just could be other things that are happening. And if that's going on, that's okay. Just notice that. And you notice it because when you keep doing this, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, you keep noticing, and then you notice that that goes away. And you notice that you have a lot more control over your responses to things than you might initially think you do. Just through that awareness. So taking about 5 more cycles of breath. A cycle is 1 inhale and an exhale. Finding a pause, another inhale and an exhale. That would be 2. So finding your 5 cycles. And I want you to remember this breath. Remember how this feels here. So if your eyes aren't already closed, you might close them and really devote the next couple breaths to getting familiar with how this breath feels, so that once we bring movement in, that doesn't distract you from still keeping this cadence with your breath. Sometimes our brain's like, no, no more breathing, now I'm moving. We want to be able to do both and link them. Beautiful. On your next inhale, just start to blink your eyes open. Arms reach overhead, breathing in as they come up. Exhale, twist. Left hand comes to your right thigh. Right hand goes back behind. Look over that right shoulder. Long spine on your inhale. Big twist on your exhale. Good. So we might lengthen up. Breathe in. Look further over your right shoulder. Twist, exhale. Good. On your inhale, arms unravel, unwind, reach. Other side, right hand, left thigh. So you press your left hand down into the ground. You might be on fingertips to get that height. And then press your right wrist or arm into your thigh here and use that to get some traction and help you twist. But notice how we're not rounding. Nice and tall, twisting. Let your arm help you. Let that left hand help you. Good. Unravel. Arms reach overhead. And then bring your right hand down. Stretch. So your left arm reaches alongside your ear here. Bicep in line with your ear. Stretching over a little bit more. And if you're rounding towards the mat, I want you to roll your heart high. Lean back a little bit. Breathe into the left side of your body. Good. Arms come up. Inhale. Exhale, left hand down, right arm over. Notice how when you breathe in, there's more air in your lungs. It creates more space between your ribs. So your breath alone can deepen these poses for you. It is a big game changer when you know how to use it. On your next inhale, arms come back up. Exhale, tabletop. Tabletop. You want your shoulders over your wrists, hips over your knees. From here, drop your belly, gaze forward, take a breath in. This is your cow pose. Notice how my arms are still straight here. We don't have bent elbows. You're pressing your hands into the mat, straight arms. It's just our belly that drops here. One more breath. Cat pose. Press into your hands still. Round your spine in the opposite direction. Look towards your navel and dome out your shoulders. Good. Inhale back into your cow. Exhale into your cats. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cats. I'm making my breath a little louder so you can see kind of how it moves me. Good. Stillness. Tabletop. Breath in. Breath out. Reach your right arm up to the ceiling. Gaze high to that right thumb. And on your exhale, you're going to thread the needles. Sweep your whole right arm down alongside your body. Rest your head on the mat or on a block. I'll show you from another angle. You stay where you are. You want to think about your arm nice and long here. You can press into your left hand to push yourself back, leaning back. You want to get into your right shoulder. options here. So you can stay just like this in any pose. You're gonna see students move on to all these other shapes. They might even make things up. You don't have to, but you might want to. So some options here are to tiptoe your left toes back behind you, so you're straightening out one leg. You can stay this way, or you might really press into your whole right arm and lift that left leg off the mat. If you want even more of a challenge, take your left arm, reach it around your low back, try to grab for that right thigh. Good. Notice the twist, the element of balance, the core support here. Take one more breath in. Lower legs if they're lifted. Press into your left hand. As you come back up, reach your right arm high. Inhale to your thumb, reset your shoulder. Good. Back down, tabletop. Other side. Left arm reaches as you inhale, look up. Exhale, thread the needle, come all the way down. So if you kind of have this relaxed left arm, it's not going to be much of a kickstand for you. So I always tell students to press into their left fingernails. You want to over-exaggerate this. So your extended left arm is your kickstand. Hips are over your knees rather than way back by your heels. So you might need to crawl towards the top of your mat a little bit to make that happen. Right hand. Where do you want it? It can come out in front. Notice that stretch. If you want to try something different, you can bring your right hand close to your left hand and just press the ground away. And you straighten out that right arm to lean into your left shoulder. This time you can straighten out your right leg. You might just stretch through the back of your right foot here. Or binds, right arm around your low back, reaching for your left thigh, or hover. All opportunities for you to explore your practice however you want. So if a teacher says this variation or not, it's your practice. You can take it if you want. Coming back down, press into your right hand, unravel, left arm reaches, breathe in, look up. Tabletop, exhale. Good, so tabletop to down dog. Curl your toes, heels are already high. Hover your knees and start to send your hips up and back. You want to think V shape. You can walk your feet backwards or a little bit closer if you need to. Feet are about hips width distance. Good. And you want to really think of your shoulders rolling back and down your spine. If your heels don't touch, that's okay. Just still press them down towards the mat so you get that stretch in the back of your legs here. You want to bend your knees as much as you can so that your spine stays long. If you find you're really rounded in your down dog, bend your knees a lot and straighten out. Good, hips high. Take a breath in and take a breath out. Start to walk your feet towards your hands. So ragdoll, again, hips high. The idea, so notice here, I see so many ragdolls like this. Although this looks sort of like a ragdoll, this is not what we're looking for, right? We're looking for, my spine is rounded here. You want your spine long. Some of you are thinking, well, I can't fold like that. You can if you bend your knees a ton. Your spine is gonna be straight now. It's straight, it's not doming. So bend your knees as much as you need to so you can give yourself that length in your spine. Letting your head hang. You can grab onto opposite elbows, kind of frame out your face here. But noticing that space where your head meets your neck, you can even bring your hands to that place, interlacing your fingers. I want that to get really heavy, where your head meets your neck. So you can shake, sway, flutter your lips, but you really want everything to melt. You want to feel gravity here. We use our necks all the time. Just let it have a break, shake it out. Good. So releasing any binds that you have. Ground down through your feet. Bring the poles up your legs as you roll up nice and slow. Arms high, mountain pose. Inhale. Exhale, pull your hands to your heart. Pausing here. Take a breath in and take a breath out. So we're going to move through our sun salutation A, which all that really is a slowed down burpee. If you've ever done a burpee before, you know, I'm not going to do it. You're reaching, you're jumping, you're going back, you're doing all the things. Yoga, this is just super slowed down. So when you reach, sometimes people are very confused. Do I reach up through the center or do I reach like this? The answer is it doesn't matter. The answer is make it up. The answer is let whatever happens happen, whatever makes sense to you. So arms reach up, they can go like this. Maybe your hands were at heart, so it comes like that. It doesn't matter. And the same thing with folding forward. Arms up. You can either fold out like this, swan dive, or bring your hands through the middle. Sometimes we don't feel the need to take up that much space. Sometimes we like to have a more centered practice, and that feels nice. Just do whatever happens. So try not to overthink. But I'm going to break down the Sun A's. Sun A's are really good to do. You can create your own mini practice with them. So if you move through like 5 sun salutation A's, just on a quick, probably 5 minutes of a lunch break, that's going to get your blood flowing. That's going to change your whole energy and help you hit a little reset button if you need it. So if you can learn Sun A's, that's going to be really beneficial for your yoga practice. So from the top of your mat, right where we started here in our mountain pose, palms face down. Inhale, arms overhead, reach. Exhale, fold. So you hinge from your hips as you dive down. Good, we're folded. Inhale, halfway lift. Press your hands into your shins and reach forward. Halfway lifts, I see lots of this. Like this was a fold, so now this is halfway, right? We want strong arms here. So you press your hands into something. It could even be your thighs. This could be your halfway lift. But the idea is that you roll your shoulders back and your heart comes through. There's almost this back bend that happens here as you gaze forward, right? We're not doming, tucking our chins and rounding. We're opening our heart, rolling our shoulders back, and bringing our hips right over our heels. Good. Long breath in. Plant your hands. Step back, high plank. High plank does not have to be with your knees up. Bring them down. Notice that this is different than tabletop. Tabletop knees are right underneath your hips. When our knees are down in our high plank, they're back behind us. And if you find that you're collapsing in your chaturangas in that high to low plank, if you find that you collapse, bring your knees down and give yourself time to develop that upper body strength, right? Because it's different than a push-up. So this might be a different feeling for you. Elbows aren't coming out to the side, they're coming alongside. Your elbows might even touch the sides of your body as you lower. Good. So high plank, breathe in, knees up or down. Exhale, elbows hover in, low plank, and then you roll into your up dog or your cobra. So you can pause here. You can just watch. You can kind of work through it with me. But we were in that high plank. Breathe in. Exhale, halfway. So you can breathe back in. So I flip onto the tops of my feet, roll my shoulders back, send my chest through. Because this is what I see a lot. You want to roll back, really find that expansiveness. You can look forward, which I recommend. If you like to look up, you can find that full back bend here. But I feel like it's kind of just extra energy exertion. You can just look forward. So this is your up dog. My feet are pressing into the mat. My thighs are not touching the mat. I don't know if you can tell that or not. Cobra is different, right? So I'd be in that high plank, I'd lower down, and then I would come all the way down and find a back bend. My legs are completely grounded. You can choose. Either way is right. So after we do that, we curl our toes, find down dog. So we'll go through this again 3 or so more times. When you get to your down dog, you'll see people wiggling. That's because once you start to move around, you start to notice your body a little bit more. What areas want to move, want to stretch? Allow them to. You don't have to stay still in your pose. One more breath in. Gaze forward. Walk your feet to the top of the mat. Find your halfway lift. It's not just a filler pose. It's a real pose. Hands press into your shins. Straighten out your arms, lengthen your heart forward. Breathe in. Exhale, fold. Press into your feet, mountain pose, arms reach overhead. Hands to your heart. Good, we're gonna go again. Arms reach, inhale. Exhale, fold. Find your halfway lift, breathe in, long spine. Plant your hands, high plank. Lower down, so you're gonna breathe in first. Exhale, lower. Breathe back in, cobra or up dog. Down dog, curl your toes, press into your hands, send your hips up and back, flip your feet. Good. Breath in and out. You can always take down dog from your knees too. Keeping your hips stacked right over your knees, still getting that stretch in your shoulders. Good. Always 3 breaths in our down dog. Long breath in. Feet to your hands. If you want to try to jump here, bend your knees, gaze forward. And when you jump, land on your tiptoes. Try not to make any noise. So you want to try to jump up high, land soft, straighten out your legs, halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, fold. Ground down through your feet, reach tall mountain pose. Exhale, hands to your heart. Sunny is a little faster. Breathe in, reach. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift, hands press, long spine. Plant your hands, chaturanga. That is your high to low plank. You're breathing out so that you can breathe back in on your back bend, whichever you choose, cobra or up dog. Curl your toes, downward facing dog. Good, breath in. Breath out. Long inhale. Full exhale. Beautiful. Start to walk your feet to your hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Inhale, reach up. And pull your hands to your hearts. Good. So those are our sun A's. You can tag on like 5 of those together. Down dog, step up, reach up, hands to heart, and just keep going. And give yourself a little mini yoga practice. You don't need me, you can do it on your own. And then if you want to add on, I'm gonna take the next few minutes to just go through Warrior 1, Warrior 2, high crescent lunge, maybe another. And I want to break those down because a lot of times people get them confused. So Warrior 1, so let's start at the top of our mat. Bring your hands to your hips and start to bring all of the weight into your right foot. So you might come out onto your left tiptoes here and then step that left foot back behind you. Good. So I don't know if you can tell here, but this left foot is to the left of my right foot. It is not in the same lane, right? They're in 2 different lanes here. So this is what it looks like from the front. And you want that because that points your hips forward. That's what you want in a Warrior 1. Good. So you can kind of tell if that's happening if both of your hips are in the same line. Sometimes what happens is people will bring their back foot in line with their front foot, and that opens their hips up to the side. And that's fine, but we want our hips to point forward for the sake of all of the other transitions that we're gonna do in these Warrior 1s, especially when we take a humble warrior and we bow forward. We don't wanna be bowing to the center. That's a different pose, different thing, not wrong, just different. So from your Warrior 1, reach up, settle in, and find your back toes. I want them to point towards the top left corner of your mat. If your toes are pointing towards the side of your mat, your hips will point to the side. Where your toes point, your hips point. Point those toes towards the top, your hips will point towards the top. Good, notice how my heels are flat. Flat heels in all warriors. Hands can come to your hips just to get familiar with the legs. Good, and then draw that knee right over your ankle. Arms reach, breathe in. Breathe out, shoulders melt. Breath in, breath out. Good. Start to release. Arms come down. Just step to the top of your mat. Good. So that's a warrior 1. We're going to move to a warrior 2, but I want you to do that on the other leg. So bring the weight into your left foot and step your right foot back behind you. This time, difference. Before, we had our toes pointing forward. Now, our toes point to the side. And they're in the same lane. So you want your left heel, if you could draw a line, you'll go straight back to your right heel. And then we really want to exaggerate this. We roll onto the pinky toe side of our right foot. So if you look at my foot, you don't want the pinky toe side lifted. You want to press it down and really roll into it. So subtle. That's going to keep your hips open. Lunge. Try to bring that left knee on top of your left ankle. Hands to your hips now, if you'd like, just to settle in. And when we look at that left knee, sometimes it knocks into the center. I want you to try to point your left knee towards your left pinky toe. Settle in. Arms come out. Gaze over your front middle finger. And sometimes our warriors are so serious because they feel that way. And sometimes you feel like this burn, but just relax a little, let your shoulders melt from your ears. You're not going to be here forever. Take another breath in and out. Good. Flip your front palm and reverse your warrior. Your legs stay just as they are. Breath in, breath out. Good. Cartwheel, unravel. Bring your hands to the mat. Frame your foot. Step back, downward facing dog. Breathe in. Breathe out. Good. This time, step your right foot forward between your hands and lift your left heel up. So you know this is not going to be a warrior since our heel is lifted. It's a high crescent lunge. So this is super similar to our warrior 1. If I drop my heel, now I'm in warrior 1. Heel high, high crescent lunge. Good. Hips point forward. Breath in, breath out. You can bring your hands to your hips, kind of gaze towards me here. A good way to get yourself set up into this is find your low lunge first. So if you want to try this, frame out your right foot. You can bring your left knee down to the mat. And then as you start to lift your left knee high, bring your hands towards your right thigh, and then arms reach overhead. Keep that foundation by squeezing your thighs and your glutes. Big breath in and out. Good. Arms reach if they're not already. Inhale. Drop your back heel. Now you're in warrior 2. Flip your palm reverse. Down dog. Cartwheel, your hands to the mat, and send your right foot back. We'll do that on the other side. Left foot steps through. High crescent lunge. Lift your right heel. Squeeze your inner thighs. Rise. Breath in. Breath out. So you want to, if you have a bend in your leg, that's fine, but you still want to try to stretch the back of your leg to the ceiling. Breath together. Breath out. Good. Roll onto your heel. Open your arms to the horizon. So I can show you that again. Your heel was high, your arms were up. Your heel is down, your arms are out to a T. Look over your front palm. Breath in. Breath out. Flip your palm reverse. Cartwheel down, frame your foot. Find your child's pose, knees come to the mat. Forehead comes down, arms reach out in front of you. Give yourself a few breaths here. If you want to get into your spine, keep your knees as close together as you can. If you want to take a hip stretch, widen your knees. Either one is right. They're just different. One more breath in. And start to walk your hands towards your body. Swivel your hips over to the right as you straighten out your legs. Flex your toes back towards your face here. So the idea does not have to be your toes. You can bring your hands back behind you and just stretch forward like this. This can be your forward fold. Take a breath in. If you want to lunge forward a little bit more, lead with your heart. Notice how my chin stays untucked. So rather than folding crunched like this, long spine, lead with your chest. You can touch your toes if you want. You don't have to. You can bring your hands to your legs. Take another breath. Bigger fold. And then arms come up. Reach. Hands to your heart. Good. You can start to bring your hands down, cross your legs, or sit back on your shins, whatever you'd prefer. Once you get there, bring your palms to face up on your thighs. Let your shoulders roll back and down your ears. Take a few breaths to really close your practice. To bring your practice with you out into whatever you're doing. There's not these hard stops from life to practice, from practice to life. Really letting the lines be fluid as you step back out into the world so you can take this space, this energy you've cultivated, and bring it with you so you can share it with other people. Take another breath in. Full breath out. Palms together to touch at your heart center. Bow forward in gratitude. Namaste. Great work, everyone. I'll see you next time.